Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on how much you as the taxpayer spend on the executive of the government of national unity, meaning ministers, deputy ministers, their support staff, travel and VIP security. Now we already know that taxpayers don't really get value for money. And many people that have to pay 25% or more in taxes know that when they give that money over to SARS, that is going to go for some cadre to improve their house or to buy a new Mercedes-Benz or a Lambo or a Ferrari. And ultimately, if you just look at the state of South Africa, you can see it crumbling and taxpayers' money not actually going where it's supposed to go in service delivery, in the fixing of infrastructure or the upgrading of infrastructure. So ultimately, the money that taxpayers pay over to SARS and then to government, and then that is supposed to be spent on improving South Africa, we know that that does not happen. But once you see how much you as a taxpayer spend on these politicians that promise you everything but deliver nothing, it's going to shock you. Now, before I show that, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. And also, please be sure to smash that like button and share this video far and wide. All right, let's have a look. South Africa's new cabinet cost taxpayers 6 billion rand per year. Now, firstly, thanks to Newsday for reporting on this very interesting statistic. And thanks to Athol Trollip for asking this question in Parliament. But yeah, 6 billion rand a year. A term is 5 years. So one term costs taxpayers 30 billion rand. And that 30 billion rand over 5 years is just for the people in this image. That over there, the people over there, that is 6 billion rand a year or 30 billion rand over one term. Now, what is it spent on? Well, let's have a look over here. Let's see. Taxpayers spend 600 million on the salaries of ministers, deputy ministers and their support staff, 350 million on travel, and listen to this, 4.5 billion on VIP protection. So just to get this straight, the biggest expense to the taxpayer here is the protection of the politicians that ask the public to support and vote for them so that they can fight for these residents and citizens of this country. So the question is, why do you need 4.5 billion rand to protect yourself from the people that voted for you to go and represent them and lead them? I mean, think about that number. Why do they need VIP protection? Why is it that when you get voted in as a member of parliament or as a minister or as a deputy minister, suddenly you now need to be protected from the public? The very same public that voted for you to be in that position. It just doesn't make sense. These are the figures shared by a member of Parliament, Athol Trollip, during his speech on his 2-year review of South Africa's new Government of National Unity, the GNU. And it goes a little bit into detail as to what the GNU is, but I want to focus on what Athol had to say here. Member of Parliament Athol Trollip delivered a sharp critique of the Government of National Unity and its performance over the last 2 years. The very first decision taken by President Ramaphosa after the election was not to streamline government or cut waste, it was to expand it. He said, the cabinet grew from 30 ministers and 36 deputy ministers to 32 ministers and 43 deputy ministers. South Africa now has one of the largest and most expensive executive structures in the world. All right, think about that for a second. We have the biggest executive in the world. So you would think that our service delivery would be magnificent. Infrastructure will be world class. Our crime and unemployment would be almost nothing. But yet it's the exact opposite. We've got one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. We've got the highest youth unemployment rate in the world. We've got one of the worst murder rates in the world. We've got one of the worst rape rates and sexual crime rates in the world. We are one of the most corrupt nations in the world. And yet every single year, we are paying these individuals that are failing us every year 6 billion rand. And then to top it all off, because they can't fix the crime problem, and the unemployment problem, meaning people are upset with them, they then spend 4.5 billion rand for people to protect them against those that voted for them to go and improve South Africa. That is one thing that I will never ever understand. The fact that you are spending more money on people protecting you from the public than what all of you get paid combined is just absurd. And not just like one time over, it's literally like 5 times over is the protection cost versus the salary and travel costs. And of course, 350 million rand a year on travel, first class, like business class, nobody knows economy in the executive. But I just can't get over the fact that they have to spend so much on security to protect them. Because here's the other thing. How many of those executive members will be able to get a job in the private sector that not only pays them nearly as much as what they get paid in the public sector working for the government, but how many of them will realistically get a job at all with the qualifications that they have, with the experience that they have, and with the knowledge that they have? Most of them won't. That is why they milk it for all it's worth, because the only thing that they are good for is to be a good cater or to associate themselves and just being a good puppet and raising the hand whenever they need to get to vote. A great example of this is in the last term when those ANC members of parliament all had to raise their hands to get rid of the Section 89 impeachment committee or to ask that it go to the impeachment committee. That is what they get paid for. They don't get paid to think up great ideas to improve South Africa. They get paid the big bucks and get paid the protection fees because they have to support corrupt individuals. That is what it boils down to. But ultimately, we have the biggest executive in the world with a country that is arguably going backwards when it comes to service delivery, infrastructure, employment, etc., etc. And I don't understand why people aren't out in the streets protesting against this. Because what can 30 billion rand buy South Africans? Well, a lot of hospitals, a lot of clinics, a lot of schools, a lot of employment, a lot of jobs. But yet, this money just goes for the cadres and well-connected. And of course, there are 1 or 2 ministers or deputy ministers that arguably earn their salary. They work hard, they try and improve things. But overwhelmingly, the vast majority of people that work as a minister or a deputy minister, president or deputy president, they're not doing their work. They're not doing their jobs. In actual fact, they don't care about what they are doing. And I'm going to cite one example because it is the most obvious example here. The Minister of Agriculture, John Steenhuisen, does he honestly earn his salary when for 2 years now he has not managed to deal with the foot and mouth disease outbreak? Now I get that it didn't start under his watch, but he had ample opportunity to involve the local farmers and to get them to vaccinate the herd and speed this foot and mouth disease outbreak up so we can get over it. But yet here we are. And not only that, his staff is mocking farmers and joking about it. So does he deserve that salary? Does he deserve the VIP protection? I don't think so. But that is just what South Africa has become. Politicians in this country are treated like celebrities because of our past. Nelson Mandela is a world icon and politics is ingrained in South Africans. But do we really have to foot the bill for incompetent people that managed to make it to the top because they sucked up to the leader of their party or they were a good cadre and now they are rewarded for it? Because we definitely don't see it in the quality of service delivery, improvements for infrastructure. None of that actually happens. This country is just getting more broken and more violent and more uneducated, and yet we just keep on paying more and more every single year. At what point are we going to reach that point where it's the straw that broke the camel's back? Hopefully that happens sooner rather than later. But once again, This is the state of South Africa in 2026. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to share this video far and wide. Don't forget to smash the like button. Also, please be sure to subscribe. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. If you'd like to contribute financially, though, you can do so by clicking on this $ and giving a super thanks. You can choose the amount, and thank you very much for that. Or you can become a member to this channel by clicking the join button below. And the biggest perk I would say from that is that you can get early access to my latest videos before the public sees it. All right, that's pretty much all I got to say. Till later, cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre.